Kaefer, welcome back to
My
being a
pleasure.
guest on your own podcast. It's been a while since we did this. So for those that don't know, every so often I will move from behind the camera and put Kaefer in the hot seat and interview him and bring some of our behind the camera chats in front of it. So we're in a new office space here, actually. Nice moss wall with the logo behind. I was just saying how you really like green, I think I noticed. Can you comment on that?
I think it was something I'm subconscious because my favorite color is blue, but I think you shed light on something because I have like four green suits, different shades, of course. But I think the office staff would agree with you. I think I do like green. Yeah,
I think it's like spending so much time on a soccer pitch when you were a kid that
I
you
th-
just need that, like,
I think
you
so.
know what I mean?
That's a very good observation. This is a therapy session.
But I'm a man of many talents. I
Yes,
also a
yes.
psychologist. But start of a new year,
hmm
a lot of fun stuff we did last year. Maybe talk about some of your favorite moments, cases, or things that stand out when you think of 2025. Good, memorable, bad, even. I don't know.
2025 was a year of a lot of change. New office space. We moved up here. We were downstairs before, so got a little bit creative with what we decorated with. But work wise, lost a special client. That always comes to mind in February of last year. It's gonna be a year now. A divorced client, so very close to me specifically. Um, so that always hits home. I think in the summer had an opportunity to kind of release some stress and do a lot of EDM concerts, things like that, which is definitely, lawyers do need some mental health. But case wise, as you know, this year was very difficult for us with immigration. I know off camera, we talk a lot about this through Instagram and stuff like that. I think emotionally and personally, it's affected me to the point where I had to say something recently in a video I posted, actually, that you helped me with. Um, but I think this year has been a lot about reflection at the end of the year and the cases we do, the practice areas we do, it is draining and tolling. But I'm excited for 2026 and how we can make a change in what we do in here. So yeah.
I think it's interesting because, like, lawyer, the law, the letter of the law is something that should be like emotion should probably be taken out of it. But like immigration is obviously such an emotional topic. How do you separate or like keep your logic or like how do you process all that?
I think 2025 was that. You hit the nail on the head. It was me coming out from just seeing the legal perspective, and I come from immigrant parents, right? My community is full of immigrants, um, past and present. But I think I look at it where it reconnected me to my past. In the past episode I did with you like this, I talked about I always wanted to be a lawyer. This year made me realize that I can't just be in the legal aspect of it. I have to voice my opinion because of who I am, of what I represent. And everybody knows we do immigration law, um, but it does take a toll on people, on lawyers, because it's not just a case. You're right. There's people's lives, people getting separated, and I'm happy to say it. I believe in immigration enforcement for those people that have a criminal background. But when I start seeing myself, I'm talking about myself personally, in my cases, in cases of colleagues, where those are not the people being rounded up, that's when I said enough is enough. I can't stay quiet. That's not true to who I am.
I think that's an important point because I think, there's many people that voted for a proposed immigration platform that they thought was going to be criminals and all this. And now we're here and it doesn't look like it's just limited to that. So I think it's interesting, like, seeing people's ability to change their mind now. Like, hey, now I don't agree with this, or like, where is the line for me? As a like, everyone needs to ask themselves, where is their line, right? Like,
Right.
how do you see that? I guess you crossed that line for yourself, right? Where you had to say something.
I had to say something because of who I am, but in general, friendship groups and dinners. I had a dinner recently where there was a law enforcement officer saying that they didn't know where they stood. And I told them, well, have you seen the videos? Have you seen the videos of these ICE raids, the videos of people being picked up? I described, the different scenarios. I'm not going to get into it right now, but they said no. So what frustrates me is people are giving commentary and opinions when they don't see the videos, see the arrests. And I have friends who believe and voted for this president, right? Does it strain our friendship? No, because have the ability to talk. Um, and I think that's crucial. I think it hasn't affected friendships because you can still be friends with people who think differently than you. Um, but I also have this internal struggle where I say the only difference between my parents and the people being picked up now, because they're not just criminals, and I can say my parents didn't have any criminal record, is the timing, right? So how can you be okay with maybe in the past my parents being picked up? They did things the right way, legalized and everything. But then the person that you appreciate and you say you love and you're friends with would have never existed. My path wouldn't have been leading to this if my parents got deported, right? So sometimes I ask myself if my friends say, or people I know, appreciate who I am as a friend and who I am as a person, this Kaefer would have never existed if they voted the way they voted and it was different timing for my parents. So that hits home a lot too.
I think really like people need to realize how much the situation changed and how like the devil is in the details, right? So like maybe you did mention that you are for some sort of reform. What is your opinion? Like for you, what is specifically wrong now and what could be a better version, that maybe people thought they were voting for?
I think when you take away the labels Democrat, Republican, pro, for, you just talk about just humanity and you talk about do we want bad people, right? And I'm talking about criminals who have a criminal history who come here to do harm from any country. Am I against that? Of course I am, right? Of course I am. Um, but when you use that facade and excuse to round up anybody who look like my parents, who look like my brothers, dark skin, maybe have an accent, that's when I draw the line and I say, as a person, we can't accept that. And as a lawyer who practices law, it's unconstitutional, right? Um, so I think a lot of lawyers are having self-reflection of where they stand. And me as a lawyer and as a person, that's where I draw the line. And that's where I can say I'm against criminals being here illegally, but let's do it the right way, the legal way. And let's not lie to the public that everybody that's being rounded up has criminal records. That's not true.
Especially when you think about like Native Americans who often look Latino and they're literally Native Americans, right? Or Puerto Ricans who have citizenship and like you just cannot stop somebody on the basis of skin color. And why, to me, it seems like such an obvious American principle. That's
Right.
why is it has been tossed out and just stepped over as like a legal line, you know what I mean?
I can freely say that it's because they feel emboldened, those people, right? We have a leader who has emboldened them. It's not about being woke or not woke, liberal, conservative. It's about certain people spewing hate and using that hate to fuel others and make it normal and okay. That's not the America I grew up in. Remember, I grew up in Secaucus, New Jersey, right? Didn't have an ESL program when I went to Secaucus, New Jersey. But the America that I know was never like this, right? So that's where people are being put in positions personally and professionally. Where do you stand on which side of history? And I think it's very important. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror when you wake up and say, I stand for my values. Right?
I think also social media really keeps people divided because I had an interesting experience where I sent an raid video to a friend and then he said, like the next day, he's like, now all I'm getting is ice raid videos. But before he wasn't. So it's just interesting because leading up to that, that's what I was getting. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you can see how people on the other side are not being fed this news, and that's where people get their news now. So to me, that's something that is also a bridge that needs to be, mended, I guess.
Social media is a weird tool. Social media emboldens people who are not okay having this conversation face to face and they're behind a keyboard or a phone and they can spew hate. And they can spew their opinions too. Not everything is just hate, there's opinions. But we have to be very careful about that social media, right? Because as much as it highlights great moments in relationships and your professional life, it also can be a tool to push people to the edge. And I mean edge, not just suicide, but violent protests, violence in general, racism. um, just discrimination in general. So they're very careful about it. It's so easy to get on and say stuff, you know.
Maybe let's talk. That's a good transition to talk about your social media a little bit. And, we post the good stuff and how everything's going well. Maybe do you want to, since we're on that topic, give us maybe a peek behind the curtain? What's the day to day like? Are there some moments that are tougher? Like do you have periods where it's just tough and you're like grinding, and it's maybe not as camera ready, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a perception that lawyers in general are just around the office, just chilling, waiting for a phone call. I only have one or two clients. I think it's about understanding that whatever we post on our content, with your help, of course, I try to recently also capture the good and the bad, the detention hearing we had, the bad outcome we had temporarily for now, at least. It's a grind. Every day is a grind. Like I tell people that are close to me, I take care of other people's problems. Who takes care of mine, right? And I'm not here saying, poor me or anything, but social media is like a highlight reel, as we know. But for every highlight that we upload, there's probably 5 tough days or tough moments. And people have to realize that we can't live or compare ourselves in relationships. I'm not even going to get into divorce and family law, but compare ourselves to what we see on social media. That's snippets, right? And people, like you said, don't see the behind the scenes. To run an office, to run and deal with employees. And my employees, I would say, we're like a family, right? We're very close. But to deal with a caseload, to deal with running a business, an office, and to have a personal life as well, it's sometimes gets tough. It gets tough.
And I think one thing that I've seen from you, I always see is like you lead with relationship first. You
Yes.
don't worry about business. You're so good at like connecting. You're like the center spoke of a wheel and you just pull everybody together. So that's something I try to show, but like I can tell people I see it from behind the camera. When the camera stops rolling, you're like nicer to the person. So where talk a little bit more about that and how it motivates your work, I guess.
I think that number one, I would say, and you're part of it, the friendship group that we have is also like a business group, right? But our friendship comes first. And I think that's a very good microcosm example of how I like to do business is if I like to be with you and share moments with you and grab dinner or something with you, then I know I can do business with you. You'll never get a relationship in the business or personally that I don't want to have. I'm an Aquarius at the end of the day. I if I don't like something, I'll tell you, right? But I lead with relationships. That's very true because if I'm okay with the person, I know how to connect with the person. I'll walk into rooms with that you're not in and speak highly of you and try to get you onto that road to success because if I do that genuinely and organically, I know you're doing the same in the other state or another room, right? So I think that's important because that's why we do the podcast, connecting the community. We're all humans at the end of the day, and I keep saying that recently, but we are, and I think we're losing that humanity. So relationships are very important.
And I think if I think about maybe like a younger version of me, I always thought like law firms or lawyers were very like cold and not fun. So I'll say you've changed my opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, we get that a lot actually. They're like, people like that when they walk in here, we treat them as a person, not as a lawyer. Like, here, tell me your case. Let's do this. This is the outcome that it's going to lead to. Um, they come in. When people come in, they're hurting some type of way, a ticket or a divorce or a deportation or custody battle. And at the end of the cases, I would say the biggest thing that we get told is, I enjoyed my time with you, but I hope I never see you
Yeah,
again. Not because we don't like you, but because if I walk in here, I have a problem that needs to be solved.
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about 2025 a little bit. 2026, like the first half of the year, where's your head at? What are some goals? What do you?
EDM concerts. No, no. Goals. Where's my head at? Q1. We're in it. I just had a meeting with the office, planning big events for the community, exciting events, bringing back the scholarship this year, and just making sure that we're there for the community. I think this year is going to be big on hitting the ground running in the sense that we want to make sure we are present for the important things, right? So making sure we offer sources or resources to the community this year that we didn't get much of a chance to last year. So in the form of events, networking events, community events, scholarship, consultation workshops, things of that nature.
So if people want to see any specific events, they should comment, huh? What kind of event do you want to see here?
Yeah,
Garcia Law.
events, tell me what type of videos you want to see. What are you missing from the videos we're uploading? It's all about the community and what we bring to the community. I think we want to make sure that we're there for the community. And look, you guys are getting insider views into the day in and day outs of everything. So I'm curious to see what do you want to see? What don't you want to see? What I always try to do is make sure that you know what type of lawyer you're getting when you walk into our office, right? That I think that's crucial.
I think that's a good point to maybe just, really bring home is why do you do the content? Why do you think it's important to do the content and
Uh,
show behind the scenes of and a closer look at you?
on two levels. One, on a deeper level, I remember my parents being immigrants. They would go to the law offices and they wouldn't know much about the attorney because it was a very formal, like you said, boring setting, right? No one enjoys going to an attorney. So I want the community to know what type of lawyer they're getting. People can read reviews. We have great reviews, but at the end of the day, who do you want fighting for that custody battle? Who do you want fighting that deportation? Who do you want fighting that DWI? Um, that's one. And then two, the content is there because it's a little bit related to that, but I want to make sure that people see that we're not that type of law firm where you walk in, you get that cold reception. Everybody has a personality here, including me. And I want to make sure that you see that we are human beings. We're never going to be the type where give me your file, hurry, hurry up, let's go. Um, you get a person on this end. And just like I show them respect, we expect the same back. Just like I, myself and the whole office pours their heart and soul into each file. Um, we want to make sure you understand that because at the end of the day, these are important battles that you are bringing to us to fight for you. And you want to make sure you know who is on that end, who's working your file, who's going to court for you. It's important.
Let's get into maybe a specific that you've had recently or whatever. Is there a specific case that you could share with us that is interesting?
I think this one's going to divide the public, and I actually would invite people to comment if they would like on this one. Um, Representative Father, I'm not going to say what county, it just ended about a week ago. Representative Father in a divorce, now he brought a post-judgment case, meaning after the divorce is an issue. Marital settlement agreement stated that both parents are sharing joint legal custody, meaning medical decisions, legal decisions, education decisions. They share that. The daughter is 11 years old, wants her ears pierced. Father practices in a certain faith in that denomination that does not allow for that to happen. Mother decided to unilaterally, even though she knows the father didn't accept that, pierce her ears, sent her home to the father with instructions on how to medically deal with the piercings until they closed. I mean, until they stayed open, I'm sorry. And father decided to let them close. So it was a back and forth. We filed motions. And a lot of people will say, 11-year-old, she's old enough to decide that she wants her ears pierced. The mother has a say. The father says, no, you know my religious beliefs. I don't think she's mature enough. Leave it for another day. I haven't baptized her in my faith out of respect for you, Mom. And even in the office, it divided the office, right? Can a child at 11 years old get her ears pierced? And ultimately, the judge decided, no, it's not a day-to-day decision. It's a decision if you put holes in someone's ears. And just like the father has certain rights, the mother has certain rights. So again, that decision divided the whole office, right? But each case is different, fact-based, depends on how the marital settlement agreement was written. Of course, our client was happy, but it leaves you thinking, what's next, right? Like I told the judge, it's a slippery slope. If you allow this, what else are we going to allow? And if I was on the other side, how would I have argued that, right? I know how I would have argued that as well. But that's the thing. For some people, it might seem trivial. But for us, I wanted to win that case for the father, not because it was the father, but because his religious beliefs should be respected as well. So that's something that hit home recently and divided the whole office. So,
So let us know what you think
ears
about that one.
pierced or no? Yeah, or no?
I'll tell you
Um,
off camera what I
yeah.
think. Let's talk about the scholarship
Oh,
that you do. Just, I think it's something we don't talk about that much, and maybe
yeah.
we should talk about more.
Yeah, scholarship this year. We're doing again. Graduating high school senior who will be attending college. We are giving away a scholarship. Um, we are reaching out to people we work with, vendors, and the general community. Whatever they donate, we match. So this year, again, we want to improve and make sure that this year is larger than previous years. So we're looking into that and getting that rolling. We'll actually officially launch the deadline and the steps that are needed to be taken to enter into the scholarship consideration. So it'll be on our website. We'll probably do a video with you, Jose, of course, and make sure people are informed of that.
All right, let me ask you some deep ones now.
Okay.
What do you think being a divorce lawyer has taught you about humans?
Humans are insecure. Humans like to compare, and social media destroys that weakness we have. Without social media, I think the youth would have much easier time in school and life, but in relationships are getting hit because we see the grass being green on the other side, and the access is so easy. 2025, I think I launched a video where I said number one tip for divorce. At that point, I had a bunch of views. And I said, if people can just sit down and talk to each other in a divorce, you'll save a lot of money on me. But this time around, I would say it's taught me that social media can destroy. Social media is not even right away; it's little by little, right? I'm gonna get into a topic that I know might lead to other comments, but girl or guy reaches out to a friend and they're married, and they tell the friend, they confide in the friend about how things are going wrong in their relationship. Friend uploads pictures in the beach, right? And it's the access, right? Is that a cheating? Number one, I can imagine what the comments are going to say, but confiding in someone else and that person, the trigger is they're a friend because they know they're waiting for the door to open to have access to you. And that's a big topic, right? I read something where it says if the girl likes the friend's posts, she thinks it's just a like. The guy says to his friends, "Oh, that guy's girl just liked my post." Right? So it's the perspective. It's just be very careful on social media how it's being dealt with because divorces, yeah, have a lot of that in it.
Do you think we might reach a point where in the prenups there'll be a clause for no social media allowed? And would that be a good idea?
Whoa. Wow. I'm really speechless. um,
Because when you say it's such a big problem, to me it's like, what if they both just agree to nip that in the bud from the beginning?
I think we need a podcast episode on that. I'm going to bring a bunch of roundtable. I mean, that's very interesting. I will say this to that, right? I'm going to be a politician right now. I think there's a reason why, like, my grandparents were together for like 50 years. I think there's a reason for that. They didn't have Instagram, MySpace, Facebook. There's something to that. And I think you could talk about the family nucleus, you could talk about work, ethic and moral and stuff like that. But I think social media plays a big part. And again, not just in divorce, but also suicide, stuff like that. Um, but that'd be interesting. Social media clause in a prenup, not have social media. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know.
Is it
Wow.
possible? Is like, can they do that? Yeah,
You
right.
can. I've seen prenups where um, a partner told another partner that if he or she gained weight throughout the marriage and they would go in increments, that they would not be entitled to alimony.
Mm.
So yeah, we can get
It
creative.
sounds like a athlete contract at that point,
At that point, look, yeah,
which maybe is a good idea.
and as a lawyer, I can think of a million exceptions. If I have a thyroid issue, how am I supposed to abide by that? But again, I'm a lawyer, so
And I think it's interesting that you say social media is like one of the biggest problems for relationships because it's also one of the biggest problems for politics and for political views. Just like we see so many categories of life are being completely distorted and
yeah.
changed because of social media.
Think about it. How many videos have you seen where I saw one where I think a porcupine was walking into a house and its quills went through the door and hit a guy. And I'm like, oh wow, this guy just got hit by a porcupine. And then in the comments you go, it's AI
Yeah.
generated, right? Like how distorted are we getting, right? Where we question every video now. Is it AI? Is it not? Um, it's about perspective. It's about positioning. I think it's scary. It's scary. It's scary.
What do you think? Where could we go from here?
I think it's good. That was really good. I
What
think I
can
have
I?
a few clips, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What can I wrap up with?
Like a last question, like maybe I don't know, something personal to wrap it up, and I'll wrap it up. Like a personal question, I'll be like, oh, and then that's perfect because it wraps into my 2026, and
New Year's resolution or no? You said
no,
that already, maybe.
yeah.
What's your favorite part of being a lawyer? Or what? Or maybe like running your own law firm, things you've learned, or no? Is
Yeah,
that too
no,
broad?
that's good. Yeah, top three or top two things I've learned. That's a good one, actually. Yeah.
All right, as we wrap up here, because I know you're busy as always. Maybe let's get back to the younger generation that's coming up. What are two or three things you've learned having your own law firm that you wish maybe you would have known, when you were 20 and coming up?
One, it can be done, no matter who you are. Don't let numbers and people say that you need to invest 60,000 to start. It's not true. You can do it. It's a matter of you want to do it, really. So that's number one right off the bat. Number two, trust. I rave about it most of the time on social media, on our account, but my group is a strong group. We're a good, tight knit family. But trust, I have a saying, I trust someone until I have a reason not to. So trust is huge for me. If I can build something with you, which is this office with the group I have, then I take that into relationships. I take that into friendships, and I'm proud of my friendship group. I'm proud of the small circle I have. I'm proud of the office I've built. It's not just me, right? My partners and all. Um, but at the end of the day, what I've learned is trust is huge in anything you do. And number three is know your numbers in life, personally and business wise. I can jump in an opportunity because I know how much comes in a day, a week, a month, and a year. I'm the type where I compare my months, how this month did last year. And I think it's huge because I can jump on opportunities, meaning if someone comes and says, I can join your firm or we have this opportunity in marketing, I know if we can afford it or not. I know if we can embrace that or not. So know your numbers. A lot of people are scared about numbers. Don't be scared about your numbers.
Great advice. Thank you so much. This was it's good to have you on the other side. We'll do it again soon. I think we should do this maybe
Check in
every
from time.
quarter or maybe
Yeah.
every 6 months. Just
Yeah.
check in on you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then we could also do an EDM concert if you want one night.
Yeah, you should tell people how much you love EDM and why.
That's a very good question, actually. I love it because scientifically, number one, I'll just give a background, not because the reason why I love it, but scientifically, the beat, the root beat in EDM music is more the most similar to your human's heartbeat in average, the average heartbeat. So that's number one. But the reason why I love EDM is because it is my release. It's a therapy. People sometimes laugh at me, but I went to law school studying with EDM. I studied for the bar with EDM. I work out to EDM. I drive in the car with EDM. I write your legal briefs and everything with EDM. Um, and the concerts are stress relief, they're therapy. That crowd, there's no one really looking for a fight. There's no garbage thrown around and everything. We've been to events together where we leave and the group that's there, like we just have memories built, right? And that could happen with a lot of different types of music, but EDM is a thing where it's global. Festivals, going to festivals is amazing. And I think this year I really embraced that. Some people have seen the videos I've uploaded. And it's because at the end of the day, I'm not just a lawyer. I'm a human being, and that is my stress relief. One of the stress reliefs I have, and I look forward to. I'm thinking about Ultra Miami, 2026, maybe DC, Beijing, 2026. And I can keep going on and on, but yeah.
So these are the things that you have pinned behind you in the office to like get you through the rough days.
Oh yeah, rough days.
Is
Rough
the next
days.
EDM concert you're going to?
100%. 100%. You make good friends along the way as well, and like I said, a lot of memories are shared. But if you ever wonder how I'm getting from trial to trial or brief to brief, think a few artists, definitely.
I think you need a Spotify playlist, a Garcia Law Spotify playlist. And you also need to DJ an upcoming event that you do. You be the DJ.
I have to come up with a good DJ name, but I love that idea. This is why we do these podcasts.
Yeah.
A Garcia Law Spotify playlist. I got to work on that.
You
That's
could
a
be
goal
up
for
there,
2026.
Mixing.
Yeah. Wow. You just blew my mind.
All right.
Wow.
It's coming.
It's coming. Spotify playlist, definitely it's coming. It's definitely coming.
All right.
Wow.
Until then.
Till then, thank you. Thank you.